to Catholic Connection with Teresa Tomeo, keeping you connected to your faith and your world. Teresa tackles the issues of faith and culture, the pro-life message, and media awareness. And now, here's Teresa Tomeo.
President Donald Trump stands with the men and women who stand for the sanctity of human life in America, and he always will.
United States Vice President, of course, Mike Pence, speaking yesterday at the National Care
He's
Breakfast.
He's actually taken even more action than I've mentioned thus far.
Great talk, mentioning all kinds of issues, including the HHS mandate and life issues, more life issues. There's a great story, by the way, on EWTNnews.com. Speak up for the voiceless, Pence encouraging Catholic prayer breakfast attendees. Good morning. It is a Wednesday morning. It's June 7th, 2017. Teresa Tomeo with you, and we are live at the EWTN radio headquarters, and it is good to be here in Birmingham. I'm taping another season of the Catholic View for Women, and in about 15 minutes, my co-hosts of that wonderful program, Janet Morena and Elena Rodriguez, will be walking in to discuss what's happening in terms of our program, but also out there in the news. You're not going to believe this story, which I will post on my Facebook page. Janet was reading this to me yesterday in the green room, and it is all about the Olympic gold medalist Sonia Richards-Ross, a beautiful young woman who's written a book called Chasing Grace. New book is just out. And so People Magazine, of all places, People Magazine actually takes comments that she made in an interview with ESPN talking about her regrets about having an abortion. It's a big part of the book, apparently, and she's very honest about it. And the comments she makes are exactly the comments and concerns that women and men affected by abortion over the years have been speaking out about through the Silent No More awareness campaign and other pro-life ministries. I was reading this article and listening. When Janet was reading it to me yesterday, I was busy doing other things and running around the green room getting ready for our next time in the studio to record the Catholic View. And at first I thought, oh, this must be on EWTNnews.com or lifenews.com or one of our other Catholic websites. Maybe she's reading an article that was published about this new book of the National Catholic Register because it was so pro-life. And I realized, oh my goodness, no. It's in People Magazine and on the website people.com. And there's also a beautiful picture of her and her husband as they await the birth of their daughter. And he is kneeling down, and he's looking at her with such love, and he has his hands on his wife's stomach with this big smile on his face. Now, what a statement that makes to the world about what is actually going on inside the body of that beautiful woman. A child is developing in the womb. Not a clump of cells, but a human being. So much to talk about this morning. We're grateful for the Vice President speaking up about life yesterday at the Catholic Prayer Breakfast, which, by the way, we, of course, covered here at EWTN. Again, EWTNnews.com has a great story on it, and it was also on C-SPAN, and you can see the full 30-minute talk on C-SPAN as well, but, of course, we covered it on EWTN television. For more information, EWTN.com. So, starting off after the news and after the break, Janet Morena and, of course, Elena Rodriguez in studio with me. And then we're going to go all the way over to Rome, and we're going to talk with our dear sister, Joan Lewis, about the Holy Father's Wednesday audience and other messages and points that he's trying to make about praying for peace in the world, considering everything that's happening in this day and age with more and more terror attacks making news, including another situation that developed, of all places, at the Notre Dame Cathedral yesterday with a man wielding kitchen knives and a hammer and attacking law enforcement. So continue to pray for peace and ask for the intercession of Our Lady of Fatima. So that is our program for today. Elena Rodriguez, Janet Morena, and you, thanks for tuning in to EWTN. You can find us online, EWTN.com, of course, and AveMariaRadio.net. Right now, let's take a quick look at the news and see what's happening on a Wednesday morning, June 7th, 2017. The French Interior Minister says the man who attacked 3 Paris police officers yesterday at the Notre Dame Cathedral shouted, "This is for Syria." Daily Beast reporter Chris Dickey says that comment is what a lot of terrorists are saying.
Wherever Muslims live, that's standard standard propaganda for ISIS, Al-Qaeda, any of these groups. So I don't think we can read too much into that.
The French Interior Minister telling reporters outside the cathedral the attacker, who appeared to be working alone, was armed with a hammer and was carrying kitchen knives. One of the officers was hurt after being struck with the hammer, but his injuries are not serious and he is expected to be okay. Police shot the attacker, who is now hospitalized. So far, there has been no claim of responsibility. Meanwhile, as Terry Moore reports, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly is warning about growing terror threats around the world.
But the plots to attack the nation are numerous, the perpetrators relentless.
The Homeland Security Chief testified during a Senate hearing.
There are more terrorist hotspots and foot soldiers now than almost any time in modern history. In Syria and Iraq, for instance, we have thousands of jihadist fighters that have converged from more than 120 countries.
Kelly also noted growing concerns about homegrown lone wolf attacks on U.S. soil.
Every small town, big town, is at risk from this lone wolf stuff.
And he said lone wolf attack plots are very difficult to predict and prevent. On Capitol Hill, I'm Terry Moore.
The leader of the Church of England, meanwhile, saying he disagrees with those who say that religion has nothing to do with attacks, such as the attack Saturday night in London. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, telling BBC Radio yesterday, if something is happening in our own faith tradition, we must take responsibility for being very, very clear in countering it. He called the issues global, generational, and ideological. He said one of the issues with Islam is its lack of clear structure with those leading that faith. One of the men who killed 7 people and injured several dozen more in a terrorist attack in London over the weekend is now being linked to a Muslim imam in Dearborn, Michigan. Sheikh Ahmed Musa Jibril is popular on YouTube with ISIS militants, and the Telegraph reports that neighbors of the suspect in the London attack says he listened to a great deal of his messages. Reportedly, however, he was radicalized by watching the videos, which remain online. Neighbors say the man tried to radicalize their own children, and they reported him to London police to no avail. White House spokesman Sean Spicer says the president wants to see a de-escalation of tensions around Qatar. In a briefing yesterday, Spicer saying Trump is also calling for a resolution to the feud with that nation. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and Egypt all cut diplomatic ties with Qatar over concerns about terrorism. Qatar houses the largest U.S. military airbase in the Middle East. Spicer at that press briefing yesterday also saying there's no time to waste on health care in our country.
Obamacare continues to collapse. I mentioned before, a third of the counties have only one provider on Obamacare. The average individual premiums have increased 105% on average from 2013 to 2017.
The House narrowly passing a bill to repeal and replace Obamacare last month. There has been little movement in the Senate, meanwhile, on the health care issue. A South Korean defense official, as Bill Zimfer reports, has been suspended over the deployment of a U.S. missile system.
South Korea's new president, Moon Jae-in, has suspended the deputy minister for defense policy after it was determined that the official deliberately failed to report the unauthorized deployment of U.S. missile defense units in the country. During his campaign, Moon had expressed opposition to the deployment of the U.S. THAAD missile system and had said he would review its status once in office. Bill Zimfer.
An iconic American retail chain is facing more tough times ahead. Both Sears and Kmart announcing yesterday they will close another 72 stores this year. That's on top of the already 180 locations already set to shut this year. Business Insider says the company will shut down 16 Sears locations, 49 Kmarts, and 7 auto centers. Most of the stores will shut down at the end of summer, sometime in September. It is a Wednesday morning. It's just about 10 minutes past the hour. Good to be with you. I am live from the EWTN radio studios in Birmingham, Alabama. Thanks to Tom Gray here at Radioland, helping me and keeping me on the air, along with Kai back in the studio, filling in for Andrew back in Ann Arbor. Andrew has a day off. And we are so excited because we are actually taping another season of the Catholic View for Women, which airs, by the way, every Wednesday evening, so you can see us tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, of course, and then it re-airs on Friday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You may also find us online through EWTN.com or thecatholicviewforwomen.com. So I thought it would be fun to have my co-host in the studio with me this morning to chat about some of the issues we are going to be covering on our upcoming seasons of the Catholic View for Women. And if you have a suggestion, feel free to call in. We'd love for you to call in anyway at 877-573-7825. We will chat, though, with Janet Marana, who is the Executive Director of Priests for Life and the co-founder of the Silence No More Awareness Campaign, about the impact that this beautiful article published in People magazine, go figure, telling the story of this amazing athlete who is being honest about the negative impact abortion had on her life and her marriage, and how it was God and prayer that helped her heal. So Janet was reading this story to me yesterday, as I said at the top of the hour. If you're just tuning in, you may not have heard me make that comment. But Janet is reading this to me yesterday in the green room, and I'm thinking just automatically, this can't possibly be on a secular news website. Because literally the language that she's using is exactly the language of so many women and men that I've interviewed over the years, whether it be at the March for Life, whether it be on this radio program, whether it be in some of the articles I've written on this topic. Over and over and over again, repeating the same thing, how they felt abandoned, how they felt they had no choice at all, how they were left with a hole in their heart after they had the abortion when they thought it would be the answer to everything and make life so much simpler. So we'll talk about that with Janet Marana. Also, Elena will weigh in, and you, I hope, as well. Again, the phone number is 877-573-7825. Then we go live to Rome for Joan's Rome with the latest from our Holy Father. Today, of course, a Wednesday audience, and he had a lot to say about the recent terrorist attacks as well, so Joan will bring us up to date. We'll be right back. It's a Wednesday. Hope your day is going well. You're listening to Catholic Connection on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Sorry about that, Teresa.
Oh, that's okay.
I thought you said Qatar second.
No, I said healthcare. Qatar was first, healthcare was second, but that's all right.
Okay.
Sometimes I know the computer sticks too, so I just figured it was that.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for the bite. It sounded really good.
Okay.
Hello, darlings. Good morning. So Father and I just went over the article with Sonia Richards-Ross.
And I just told Leslie to send you the blog I wrote that she's shopping with.
Oh, good.
National Catholic Register.
Okay, good.
Pick it up so you can see.
Because it's like, I told Father in reading the article, the lines are like right out of the Silent No More playbook. I mean, it's like phenomenal.
Would you like some ice? No, just water. The water's fine. Uh-huh. And the other thing, too, is...
Okay, put your headsets on because we're going to be coming up in a minute.
The other thing is we did some research, and there's a whole bunch of athletes over the years who've been pregnant and gone to the Olympics while pregnant and won medals, So that's what I wrote about in the blog. You don't have to choose between the medals.
Did she send it to Gail and Marcy so we can post it on Facebook?
Well, we don't want to post it yet because we're trying to shop it with NCR.
Oh, okay, when it gets done.
Right. But I told her to send it to you right now in your email.
Yeah.
So that you can see what we said. Because we pointed out we researched, her and I, other Olympians who were pregnant at different Olympics and won gold medals.
Okay.
So that they don't have to choose between the baby and a medal is the point.
Okay.
Of the article. Oh, I wanted to give you my phone to take pictures for the website.
Sorry, I have to turn on your mics.
$10 seconds. Coming up.
So we're on the web now. Facebook.
And YouTube.
Hope you're having a great Wednesday morning. It's 9:14 Eastern Time, 8:14 Central here in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. And ladies, I forgot to mention at the top of the hour that we are on Facebook and we're also on YouTube. So everybody do the Queen wave to the camera. Hello, here we are. Wave. Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist. As I'm saying,
like
wave.
this.
In studio, my co-host in the Catholic View for Women, Elena Rodriguez and Janet Marana, and we are taping our spring season this week. The fall season begins, and we already taped that, which will feature our new co-host.
Elena.
Yay! The crowd goes wild. This is so fun.
Very excited.
So Astrid is taking over, or actually took over, for the Spanish
Right.
Catholic View for Women.
Which
Right.
we're very honored that they took from the English. Now it's on the Spanish side. And Elena, it's not called the Catholic View for Women in Spanish, right? What's it called?
Ellas dicen.
Which means?
They say so.
They say so.
Yeah.
Right.
Using the feminine plural
right.
of the article, so it fits.
And that's exciting because I know Astrid was with us for many years, but because actually the show became very popular, they wanted to do a Spanish version of it. So
That's
now
right.
that she's running that. So a lot of fun. And we have a new set. So if you tune in, of course, that will be seen next spring when we're revealing our new set. So let's talk about, and Elena, I'll go to you, some of the issues that we're going to be discussing in the upcoming seasons of the Catholic View for Women.
Well, one of the issues that we're going to be discussing is one of the episodes. It's a 2-part episode, and it's called Inquiring Minds Want to Know. So we're going to be answering questions from our viewers
right.
and hitting exactly on the target, hitting those questions, those concerns, sharing with their joys as well, and also sharing in prayer intentions, which is something that we all enjoy very much, to be so connected with our viewers and to know what they're going through, what are their concerns, and pitching in and putting our 2 cents in and having a discussion. And another one of the topics that I think is very, very hot and in point is one episode that we have labeled A Tale of Two Marches.
Oh, yes.
Right.
We taped that one yesterday. We
Yes,
need
we
3
did.
shows for that one, let me tell you.
That
Lot
was
to
not,
say.
yes.
Yeah.
And we could
Yeah.
go on and on and on about that, and it's comparing the March for Life, which is a march for all women and all men. For all women, as you said, Janet, in during the taping of the episode, all women born and unborn.
That's right.
Which is a very good point, compared to the so-called March for Women, or the Women's March, which was basically a pro-abortion march, which did not allow, and they did not allow all groups of women to
No.
march. No pro-life women were allowed to be part
That's
of that
right.
march. So you see that duplicity, that double discourse there, and it makes for a great
Conversation.
talking.
Yeah. So speaking of the issue of abortion, I was just telling my listeners, and Father Frank was with me in the local hour, and he's our spiritual advisor, by the way, for the show, and we were discussing this very powerful and I think very well-written piece that's been posted, of all places, on people.com. Now, when you were reading the article yesterday to us in the green room, we were waiting to go back on set, I was thinking, because of the language that was being used,
Oh, it sounded
that you were
like
reading from
Silent No More.
EWTNnews.com or from the Silent No More website or from lifenews.com, maybe an article from the National Catholic Register that had
Right.
done an interview with this Olympic athlete. And yet it was an interview, actually, that was being quoted. She had been interviewed by ESPN about her abortion experience and why it was in her new book, Chasing Grace. And all of the quotes were in there on people.com.
That's right. And it was about her regret of
Right.
that decision.
Yeah.
And if you notice, too, Teresa, in the article, her then fiance, now husband, he basically said, well, yeah, I guess this is what we have to do. And he was off in training camp.
Right. A
And
football player, right.
Football
Mhm.
player. And she had that abortion just 2 days before getting on a plane to Beijing to participate in the Olympics. And she was concerned about her gold medal. She was concerned about what would her parents think, her peers, her fans, and her supporters, her sponsors. And so what I'm thinking was, oh, okay, so you were afraid that when you win that gold medal, as you know, many of these athletes win all kinds of sports deals,
Right.
like Nike and
Sponsorships
sponsorships.
and- right. Mhm.
So she was worried about the money, the moolah, so to speak, rather than her child. And ironically, I did some research after we spoke, and there's been a lot of athletes over the years, if you do some research, that have gone pregnant and won gold medals in the Olympics. So she didn't have to choose between her baby and a gold medal, but she caved to what is other people going to think. And what I want to say to our listeners is, you have to be very careful about your language. If you hear of a girl who's in an unexpected pregnancy, don't ask the question, what are you going to do? Because that's an abortion-minded question.
Right.
Instead, say, how can I help you? What a blessing. It's unexpected, but it's an unexpected blessing. How can I help you? Because that's what happens. Women cave in because they're afraid of all the pressure surrounding them. And I blame her fiance, because had he said to her, you know what, let's not rush to this decision. Go to Beijing. You're only X amount of weeks pregnant. I think she was still in her first trimester. Go ahead, win that gold medal, come back, and then let's see what we want to do. They were engaged, for goodness sakes. She did not have to rush to that abortion clinic. And the doctor told her, if you read the article, that she should not have traveled for 2 weeks. And yet she got on a plane 2
Yeah.
days later, and the medal that she had aspired to win, she did not win.
Right.
The only medal she did get when she was in a relay with other participants, but the event that she was slated to win, get that gold, she lost.
She mentions, and there's some really, I think, very revealing quotes in here, and then I was reading it again this morning with Father Frank in the first hour. The quotes, Janet, are right out of Silent No More, Testimonies in Silent No More. She talks about going into a depth of despair,
right,
and how this choice was upon her because, as you just mentioned, of the sponsorships, and how she really blamed her then fiance, and now spouse, because he basically said, "Oh, really, it's your decision." And she said, by neither interfering or by not supporting or neglecting or saying no or saying yes. She said that was basically endorsing an abortion. All of these things, and then the impact it had on their relationship. And you talk about this in Shockwaves for Abortion, which is going to be one of our episodes next season. And so, Elena, these are the kind of stories that we need to let people know about. And when the media do something well and they publish a very revealing story like this, I think we need to give them credit where credit is due.
By all means. And I think that's also very encouraging for the true reporters, the true journalists, the true writers and editors out there to be encouraged in, yes, when you do something right, you do receive a reward beyond the good that you did for society and beyond your professionalism. You do receive a reward in terms of your audience, and your audience appreciates that, which in turn means do more of it.
This is truly from her heart and from her gut.
That's right.
Were you surprised, both of you, Janet, I'll back to you, and this is a kind of discussion, by the way, if you've never watched The Catholic View. This is what we do on the set. This is exactly what we do on the TV set.
And we talk over each other.
But we all talk a lot, so that's just natural. But were you surprised that they focus so much, because as I was saying earlier in the first hour of my show, this woman is a fantastic athlete. She's beautiful. She's married to a football star. They could have focused on anything, on her her athletic success, her why she wrote the book, their life together as superstar athletes in the public eye. But there was so much emphasis on this abortion in this article. Were you surprised by that?
Well, I was surprised, and I was absolutely delighted that they actually included it, because obviously the article was based on this new book that's coming out. That was the whole
Chasing
deal.
Grace, right?
Chasing Grace. Yeah. And so they could have focused in more of her Olympian career,
how
and
she
things
got
like
started,
that, and
things like that, right?
And they could have glazed over the fact that she had this deep regret about the abortion. The fact that they included it and talked so much about it, I was like, whoa, what a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
So maybe, Teresa, Trump calling out the media, calling them fake news, maybe it's starting to seep in a little bit, somehow seep in, where they want to be honest now and tell the truth. I'm just hoping, because People has such a wide readership, that other women who have that regret can now come forward and say, you know what, maybe I need help.
Father was saying this morning he thinks there are many women, because of this article, that are going to be going to confession this weekend.
And one of the things is, when women go through such difficult trials, we tend to think that it's just me. There's something wrong with me.
Right.
And I'm so ashamed to even speak about it. And if you don't speak about it, you don't understand that there are other people going through the same trials you are. Oh, okay. So then it's not just my problem. Let me share and let me learn from others. What have others done that has worked for them might work for myself. Right. So that step to open up.
I'm not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. But listen to this quote, and you read this to me yesterday. And again, when I'm hearing this yesterday, I'm thinking, oh, it's National Catholic Register, lifenews.com, EWTNnews.com. This is an interview that they did with, not thinking it could possibly be in People Magazine or something similar. I made a decision that broke me, and one from which I would not immediately heal, she writes. Abortion would now forever be a part of my life. A scarlet letter that I never thought I would wear. I was a champion, and not just an ordinary one, but a world-class record-breaking champion. From the heights of that reality, I fell into a depth of despair.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised by that comment.
No, but I'm not surprised by the comment. I'm surprised that it made it onto people.com.
People.com. And notice what she says, a scarlet A on her. So she feels like I'm shamed now because I had this abortion, and everyone knows.
But why? Abortion is just like getting your tooth pulled.
No big deal. Go back to school and work tomorrow, which is what she did. Notice, against the doctor's advice, and then she got over there. She was feeling sick, and she didn't win her gold medal. So, she sacrificed the life of that child. I really pray for them because she is now, I believe the article said that they got married and she's pregnant now. They're going to have.
Now look at this picture. And our listeners could see it if they go to, and Janet's writing a blog on this, and I'm also going to be posting this on Facebook, but it's on people.com. It's Sonia Richards-Ross is the athlete, and her book is Chasing Grace. Look at this beautiful picture of her husband with his hands on her stomach, and they're cheering life because they're expecting another child. And look at that. What does that say? Oh, look, he's smiling at a clump of cells. No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. He knows it's a baby.
It's a baby.
And I really hope that they seek more healing. The reason being, Teresa, is, first of all, he hasn't really been healed about that abortion. And before now, he's excited. You can see by that picture about I'm becoming a dad. Well, you already were a dad,
right?
And you lost a child,
right?
And together, I'm praying that they seek more help before that baby's born, so that they don't have the bonding issues, as we know, the other complications after an abortion if healing hasn't taken place.
I'm wondering, and we can talk about this when we come back, by the way, at 26 minutes past the hour, 877-573-7825. Number one, I'm wondering if she's gotten any negative feedback or pushback from this, but she will. And secondly, will you be reaching out to her for the Silent War campaign? And we'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
Elena Rodriguez and Janet Miranda, my co-hosts on The Catholic View. We're taping another season this week. Give us a call. Again, I'm reading this morning, reading it over again. I'm like, holy cow. It's incredible. And this picture is incredible.
I know.
If not, I'll take some more.
Okay, I'm sure they're fine. Yeah, that's why when
nice display.
When my staff emailed it to me
Beautiful.
yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this out. We got to do something.
I'm posting
about
this. I'm going to have Marcy post this on Facebook today.
Here.
You get
photos. Here's all the photos.
5 stars.
Oh, that's cute.
Just slide it. No, that's Vivian.
That's cute. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. I want to call Leslie so she could tell people they can see us.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they see this? They go to what? EWTN what?
I'll send you the link. Are you going to post a link or just...
No, I'm going to call Leslie now and tell her.
I really like that one. That's really cute.
Yeah. I'll get them all to
Gail
YouTube,
and Marcy.
YouTube.com.
Wait, type. Let me call her. Sure. How many minutes do I have till we come back up?
Like about 1.
1 minute? All right, come on, Leslie, answer.
You know what's so cool about this is that they're such a gorgeous couple.
Oh, yeah.
And they're so prominent and they're like...
They have a speaking platform. It's a huge
look
responsibility
at that.
for them.
Choose life. Yay!
Let me see it because I can't see it from here.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because now she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And they're happy. Why isn't it ringing? Leslie, where are you?
We only have one bar. It might not go through.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Okay, hurry up, though, because we're coming up.
I know.
30 seconds.
Leslie, listen, you got to go to EWTN YouTube. You can see us live. They do.
I'm watching.
Okay, I got to hang up. Bye.
10 seconds.
Thanks, Kai.
Put the phone in my lap. It's on bright.
Coming up.
It's off. It's off. Don't worry. Wave again.
This is my favorite bumper music that Kai and Andrew play for me because they know I love summer. It's like
Umbrella
Caribbean
drink.
seas, umbrella frou-frou drink. Welcome back, Catholic Connection. We're having a great time. So many times when I'm introducing the show, I say, Teresa Tomeo, host, or welcome to Catholic Connection, because the Catholic Connection, Catholic View, I get so confused. Anyway.
It's all Catholic.
It's all Catholic. It's all good.
That's
we
good.
are in studio with my beautiful co-hosts, Elena Rodriguez and Janet Miranda, who are with me on the set today and all week long for taping another season of The Catholic View for Women, which airs on EWTN Wednesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time and is re-aired on Friday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And you can find out more information, EWTN.com, and also the CatholicViewForWomen.com. And we're also this morning on our Facebook page live and the YouTube page. And you know all about this, working behind the scenes in radio.
Yes.
So how do people find us? We have to do the Queen Wave again.
The
Wait,
Queen
elbow,
wave,
elbow, wrist. Okay, so
there we go.
where do they
So
find us?
You can go to youtube.com, and in the search bar, you type EWTN, and it shows up EWTN channel. That's what you pick. It'll take you immediately to our EWTN channel on YouTube, and then you'll see our live webcast there.
There you go.
Click on it, and you can even chat and participate.
cool. That's a lot of fun and a
Lot
great
of
way to
fun.
get
And
the word out.
Facebook, you go to our Facebook page, EWTN Facebook page, and the first thing right at the top that'll show up is our live feed on Facebook, also with a chat. So you're part of our vibrant radio community on social media.
There you
And
go.
Our thanks to Jeff Burson, who's our social media manager.
Yes, he
as
was
well.
in here the other day telling me, "Are you okay with being on Facebook and YouTube?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
We're all
You know,
part
we
of the
call
family.
him Jeff Burson, Mr. Nice Person.
There
It
you
rhymes
go.
and
It
it's
rhymes,
true.
and
Rhymes.
it's true. Let's get back to what we were discussing before the break, and I had 2 questions. And Janet, I'll go to you first. Will Silent No More Awareness be reaching out to this beautiful couple?
Well, of course, we will try to. We'll see if they want to respond. Just like we've reached out over the years to other personalities that come out. As you know, Julia Holcomb, we reached out to her when the story broke. And also, you may not remember, but when the campaign was first getting going, Melba Moore. And she was a star,
yes, I remember that.
singer,
Yeah.
and she had been in some Fighting Temptations or something was the movie. And we reached out to Melba when she came public about her abortion, and she stayed with the camp. What I noticed with the what do you call this, quote, quote, celebrities is they might want to be involved with us for a little while, and they'll do it maybe for a year or two, and then they quietly kind of go back to their own lives and what they're doing. And some don't want to participate. They don't want to be public any more than whatever came out, but they don't see themselves. So it's a very different environment that, some are called to speak publicly and continue to do so, and some aren't. So we will reach out, and it'll really be up to her and her husband. But I'm really more concerned, though, Teresa, as I said to you at the break, about their healing. Now that they're going to have a baby, there's bonding issues with abortions that are not properly healed. Like they said, we've reconciled and this and that, but have they really done the grief work?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Have they done the real grief work? As we know with Rachel's Vineyard, it's a marvelous weekend retreat program where you enter into what happened. You have to write letters to the baby, apologizing for what you did to that child, name the child, give humanity back to the child and dignity, and then grieve and mourn the loss of that child, and then you can move forward. When you haven't gone through that steps, well, you might have accepted that God has forgiven me, but deep down inside, have you really forgiven yourself? Both her and her husband. And I'm very concerned about him because he wasn't a true man and stood up. He was kind of like Adam in the Garden of Eden, who kind of let Eve do what she had. Why did he let the serpent in to begin with, Adam? And why didn't he stand up for Eve? And so, in this case, he has also a lot of guilt there to deal with, because where was he? Off at football camp. He didn't step up and say, don't do that right now. Let's not think hastily. Let's wait. Take a breath. Go off to the Olympics. Come back and we'll discuss it. No. He basically pushed her into saying, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, have the abortion. It seemed like a quick fix, a giant eraser, but it's not. So we really need to keep them in prayer. And yes, we will reach out, Teresa, but I don't know what their response will be.
But this is the kind of discussion, if those of you who are listening to Catholic Radio this morning on EWTN, this is what we do on the Catholic View.
Right.
And we wanted this forum, and we're grateful to Doug Keck and Peter Gagnon for taking us and our idea very seriously and realizing that this was something that would benefit our viewers.
Right.
Are you finding, as you go out in the public, that more and more people are watching the Catholic View? Because I am, as a speaker.
I am, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I travel, it's funny that people sometimes maybe do or don't recognize us, but when they hear our voices,
Oh, yeah.
both for the
very,
radio
very
and TV,
distinguished voices. Yeah.
they go, it's Janet Morata,
Yeah.
And they're very grateful for the show. They say that to me. Janet, we watch the Catholic View. We love it. We really take it to heart, everything, the resources, we like that.
The homework
Assignments,
because Janet's a teacher.
Who
so we
likes
never do the
homework except in the case of
Catholic
View?
View.
For women.
Right.
Well, because we all do homework, right? You and Teresa, Elena, all of us, we constantly keep reading. For me, and I know for you, Teresa, because we were bad girls and went away from our faith for a period of time. Coming back now, you can't get enough of it. You have to keep reading and
You're
drinking.
kind of
and
like
more
that old
and more.
VA commercial. Where have I been all these years?
I know,
Yeah,
like
VA.
duh.
Yeah.
So for me, doing the Catholic View, I feel it's helping prevent what happened to me and to you.
Right.
From going away, drifting away. It's shaking women up to say, listen, we've got the wealth here of the church. If we just unpack it, stop listening to the secular media where they're downplaying the church and saying they're against women and this and this and that. But look at the teachings and really embrace and understand them. It's like, wow. I always say, and it's a regret I guess I have, had I known, and with all the Catholic education I went through, had I known these things, I probably would never have left the church.
Right.
And for those 2 decades. And so if I can stop just one
person, one woman
from going
exactly.
through what we did of thumbing our nose at God for that
Thinking
period
we
of time.
knew better.
We think, and contracepting and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I would say, thank you, Jesus. So I feel very privileged. Like, who's Janet, to be doing this right now? But if I can stop someone else from going down that road, praise God.
And think of it, the expansion wave potential, because if one woman in her household realizes, starts educating herself, reading more prayer, and becomes in the know, she will protect her household.
That's right.
So that's a next generation that's going to be on the right path and not having to face unnecessary trials. And
what I love is we have a
life.
lot more and more men that are watching us.
They're tuning in.
Yeah.
I think we should have the Teresa new thing. Catholic View for Women, not men who are invited also.
yes. We are very inclusive. Well,
Yes,
I think it's really good for men to watch it, because the poor guys out there, especially men who are trying to be good husbands and fathers, have been just so maligned by the culture and attacked and made to feel that they're not important. And we're always uplifting not only women but men, empowering men.
Take up their role, their masculine role of providers and protectors, of defenders, and to be like St. Joseph and take a stand. And yes, it is okay to be a man. Please we let men be men.
Be a guy.
As Father Larry Richards would say, be a man, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And having a great time talking with my dear sisters in Christ and co-hosts of the Catholic View for Women, which we're taping this week, our spring season, Janet Marana and Elena Rodriguez. Find out more information on our website at thecatholicviewforwomen.com. Now, Janet, you mentioned you are working on a blog right now on this piece.
Yeah, I worked with Leslie Palmer-Samancic. She's our Director of Communications at Priest for Life. And, of course, my Irish got up. Guys, I'm not Italian. My Irish got up when I was reading it. And I called Leslie. I said, we have to do a blog. We have to do something. Start looking. And sure, she researched. And I told you, there are women who went to the Olympics and pregnant and won gold medals. And I said, that's it. We have to write about this. So we got it written, and we actually sent it over to our friends at National Catholic Register. We'll see if they're going to publish it.
I'm going to be writing a piece from a media perspective on how important it is to give credit where credit is due, and to thank People Magazine for publishing this, because then maybe they'll do more articles like this. Thanks, ladies. We'll see you in about half an hour down in the TV studio. When we come back, another woman from Catholic Radio and TV, our very own Joan Lewis, live from Rome. Jones, Rome. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Awesome.
That was quick.
It was 2 segments.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Flew by.
It's a great discussion.
That Sonia story, I think, is so important.
Yeah.
That it's like we got a gift and let's run with it.
Yep.
I was going to ask you if you want anything, but I guess you're leaving us.
They're leaving me.
Well,
I'll see you in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Tell Jackie to stay there. She's got to fix my hair. Yeah.
Fix hair, and she still has to do my lips.
you? Yes. I am a guy, and I'm glad I'm a guy.
Yes. Put it there, Tommy. Thank you.
Hey, by the way,
yes.
Congratulations. I didn't know.
Yes.
Let's have lunch.
Okay.
I'll buy you lunch and we'll celebrate. I need to see your
What are we
office too.
celebrating?
Besides, again, we got Quando in my car for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't heard that in a long time.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll give you a call.
Okay, what are we celebrating?
You're co-hosting.
Oh, yeah.
That's a promotion.
It is. Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
See you later.
Thank you, T.
Bye, honey.
More coffee or anything?
I think I'm good for right now, babe. Hello, darling.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Did you get my email?
I did, but there's been some. I'm at EWTN this morning, so I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm in my email. I'm doing the show from the radio studio.
Well, I spent my morning at the doctor's because I think I have phlebitis in my right foot.
Oh no!
I couldn't. Sunday, I woke up and I couldn't walk, and so I just had some cousins coming in Tuesday. They left this morning, so. And I take one TV show Sunday because they can come to my house and do that. But
yeah.
I went to the doctor today, and I have a Doppler test tomorrow morning at about 8.
10 seconds.
Well, that's no fun.
We shall see.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Coming up.
Okay, hang on, babe. Here we come. Welcome Welcome back. It's Catholic Connection. Teresa Tomeo with you. We are live at the EWTN radio studios in Birmingham, Alabama. You can also see us on Facebook and our EWTN YouTube channel. We go over to Rome now for my dear friend and sister, Joan Lewis, an amazing woman based in Rome as our bureau chief there, covering, of course, the Vatican and all things Catholic in Rome. Joan, there's been so much coverage here in the States of the different terrorist attacks. Of course, we had the incident in Paris yesterday at Notre Dame, and then London over the weekend, Manchester 2 weeks ago. What's the mood there in Rome? I know the Holy Father has been increasing his calls for prayer for peace. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. No, if you were just to say what you sense or feel, walking around, or do you see fear or anything else like that, I'd have to say no. I also have to say there is just a huge uniformed presence. Now, I've had a very bad ankle for a couple of days, so have not been out since Pentecost Sunday. So, I can't speak for the last 2 days. I did watch the attack in Paris. I saw that on television. But there's been a massive presence here for such a long time. There was a fairly good one. No, not fairly. A very good one during the Holy Year, of course.
Right.
And but in so many other places, things have just been beefed up so that now you not only see Italian police cars, you see jeeps of the Italian Army. And so there's two, just 3 blocks down from my home. If you were to walk down and turn right, you'd be at La Vittoria Restaurant. Turn left, you'd be going into St. Peter's Square at the left-hand colonnade. Mm-hmm. And there's now 2 jeeps there. So Via della Conciliazione has been closed for a long, long time to vehicles, and there's only cars, the police cars, that are in there watching people. Now you can go down. You know how there's the 2 small streets, if you will, parallel to Via della Conciliazione. Yes. So any of our listeners who've been there, Via della Conciliazione is the great big wide street leading up to St. Peter's. Then on either side of the street you have a pedestrian raised like cement area, but there's benches and pillars and so forth. Then between that pedestrian area and the Vatican buildings on both sides, there is a small street. So one to go towards the Vatican and the other coming away from the Vatican. So if you're staying, for example, at one of the hotels, the Columbus or something, a taxi can bring you down that street. And then he goes, at a certain point, he has to exit away from St. Peter's. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea, I haven't explored the whole center of Rome, but I can tell you at main monuments, at obviously Piazza Navona, places where huge numbers of people would gather, obviously sports arenas, the Colosseum, important churches, your major basilicas are all carefully guarded by, army people. So, and then you have to go through, which began, I think it was in the Holy Year, you have to go through airport-like security to get into those basilicas. Mm-hmm. So, but as far as an attitude or people staying away, all you have to do, Teresa, is look at the number of people that come to papal events. I don't know the figure for today's audience, but Sunday, the Vatican gendarmes came out with a figure of 60,000 for Pentecost Sunday.
Wow.
So, that's an enormous number. And, of course, you had the vigil at Circus Maximus the night before with mainly, or perhaps only, let's say mainly, the Catholic charismatics. So, and that was a good crowd. I've heard and read just 35,000, but supposedly 35,000 charismatics were, that's the number that came from around the world to be in Rome.
That's such a beautiful place to have an event. I've been to a number of different events there. When we had the canonization of John Paul II, it was so moving because if you couldn't get into the night before St. Peter's Square, which is nearly impossible to get into because of the lines of people that wanted to be in the square, then you could go easily to the Circus Maximus where they had the big screens and other places in Rome. But it was really beautiful and well done, and so historic and moving to be right there at the Circus Maximus and just in that area.
All the ruins around it.
Right.
Yes, are magnificent. Now, it does create logistics, even if this was not a time when we have to be so vigilant against terrorist attacks, etc. just all of the streets around it had to be closed. And so for any American, there used to be the American Embassy nearby,
Right.
for anybody driving in that area, you've got FAO, the Food and Agricultural Organization. Now, that was Saturday night. You might have had a skeleton staff on duty, but probably nobody working, Saturday or
Right.
Sunday. So that wouldn't have been too bad. But there's an awful lot of streets that lead people not only to monuments but to their homes. So when you have to close those off for 24 hours or something, and they'll be closed to buses, I don't know where the buses had to park that brought huge numbers of people there, but it's something that, you just have to live with now, unfortunately.
I'm very encouraged to hear that people aren't staying away, because people need to know that this is still very, very safe to visit and so beautiful, and don't miss out on an opportunity if you've got a planned trip to Rome or to somewhere overseas, a pilgrimage maybe to the Holy Land or somewhere else. And because that's exactly what the terrorists want to do. They want us to think that no place is safe and you can't go anywhere. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at a release that was just placed on the Vatican website, and this is Pope Francis appealing for prayers at international international participation in the 1 Minute for Peace initiative.
Right.
Tomorrow? Yeah.
Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Tomorrow, the 8th of June at 1 p.m. And this is in commemoration, if you will, and I so well remember this day 3 years ago, in the Vatican Gardens, following the Pope's visit to the 3-day visit to the Holy Land. The late Israeli President Perez and Palestinian President Abbas met with the Pope to pray, and each in their own way, etc. But the Pope had asked them in the Holy Land to come, and both of them agreed. So there was that private moment in the Vatican Gardens, June 8th of 2014, and that's what the Pope said tomorrow. So he wants us to be the entire world praying, I'm pretty sure at 1 o'clock local time, wherever they live. So, New York, Detroit, Alabama, Beijing, wherever. Well, if you do it wherever you live, you'll have 24 hours of prayers,
Yeah.
1 p.m. in 24 time zones. So not a bad idea. Exactly.
In terms of the Holy Father, he's been issuing calls for peace, and of course, I think it's a great time for all of us as Catholics to help people understand the important message of Fatima, which the Holy Father emphasized on his trip to Fatima.
Right.
And I think the canonization of two of the children's seers, of course, Francesco and Jacinta, is huge. These are all opportunities for us, I think, Joan, and sometimes we forget to witness more about the faith.
Oh, absolutely. And start to tell others about, not just even in our own way, but just starting to tell others or remind them that a certain day, a certain place, or just a personal thing, sacrifice one may offer up for peace in the world. I just remember hearing this going back a few decades here, but I remember hearing this as a child. We prayed all the time for the conversion of Russia, because this was, it was in the throes of communism, and, dark and black news was coming out of Russia, and of course we had Fatima. So, and that was 1917. The war was 1914 to 18, with World War I, and I just remember hearing that, and it was such a part of our life, and you'd pray it after grace at meals, and you'd always pray it in church at the end of Mass, maybe after a prayer to Michael the Archangel. But I guess it's just that it's always, any prayer for peace now, it remains, okay, that was for the conversion of Russia, but it was also for peace in the world because of World War I. And so any prayer for peace or an organized event for peace just kind of seems to stick in my mind more than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the Holy Father, where is his next trip? He's been doing some traveling, obviously, but does he have anything else on his schedule in the near future?
I don't remember what he has in June, because July is usually the month that, at least for Pope Francis, that's been the month since he's been Pope that he starts reducing his activity, because he himself has said he doesn't know how to go on vacation. So vacation means, not holding an audience, or not holding a whole bunch of private meetings in the morning. So that is.
But he doesn't go to Castel Gandolfo. He stays in Rome, doesn't he? We love Castel Gandolfo. We want him to go up there. It's so beautiful. Or down there, I should say. It's south.
But I've been in the palace in different rooms. Oh, my gosh, how many years ago when I worked at Vise? I did, when the Pope went away, and John Paul would go away, like July, August, and September.
Right.
July would be the mountains, August and September, Castel Gandolfo. And I remember once getting permission when Cardinal Sciolca was, if you will, like the governor of Vatican City, from Detroit, of course. And I remember him, I had asked him for permission. I said, I want to do a story. We don't have any news every day because the Holy Father's away and there's no nominations or anything. We can't send out a blank news, report. So I said, I want to do profiles of offices of the Roman Curia and also Castel Gandolfo. Would that be possible? Well, he arranged for me to go. Actually, the man who was for 55 or more years head of the papal villas out at Castel Gandolfo is now head of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre in Rome. And not of the whole order, but of the Rome Lazio part. Anyway, I went out there and I got to see the house. One thing I've never written about, but it makes such sense. I remember being shocked when the Vatican car brought me in. We parked in the little courtyard, and we started our tour, a few rooms in the house on the main floor, the kitchen, the dining room, things like that. And we're in a pantry area prior to the kitchen. He points out this huge wall icebox, a refrigerator. And he said, just casually in passing, because of course it's probably something he knew for decades, and Joan nearly fainted when she heard it. And he said, and of course this is where we keep the papal blood supply. And I said, really? Or something like that, But then it made so much sense. I mean, you're going to have it in the White House, you're going to have it in the Vatican Palace. Why wouldn't you have a blood supply for such an important, world leader, whatever their blood type is? So I'm just guessing any single world leader probably has someplace in their household or office there's going to be a supply, which is a very logical thing.
Yeah, that's what I love about you, though. You always have such all these interesting, or as Nick Tom would say, fascinating facts to share with us about everything you ever wanted to know about the behind the scenes in the world of the popes. Joan, believe it or not, we're out of time already, so I'm going to pray for your foot. I know you're having a little bit of trouble with that, so we're going to pray for healing because we know how busy you are and how you always love to entertain, especially on the weekends in Roma, and do such a great job of that. But always appreciate your coverage. And I do want to let you know that we are very close to selling out our second annual Wine and Shrine Tour. We only have about 5 seats left. Yes. And Joan will be joining me and Kelly Walquist again in November for the Wine and Shrine Tour. If you'd like more information, you can go to CatholicVineyard.com, TeresaTomeo.com, or just shoot me an email and we'll get you in touch with corporate travel. It is a women's pilgrimage. WINE is an acronym for Women in the New Evangelization. And we are trying to do this every year, and we're going to stick with the fall time of November, mid-November, because it's a beautiful time weather-wise and much cheaper. We're saving you a lot of money on this trip because of November versus June that we did last year. All right, sweetheart, take care. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.
All right. Ciao, ciao. Joan Lewis, our bureau chief there in Rome, of course, every Wednesday, joining us live here on Catholic Connection with Joan's Rome. It is just about 53 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for tuning in to Catholic Connection. We will take a quick break, and then I'll come back and let you know what we'll be discussing tomorrow on the program. Stay tuned. Okay, feel better. Thanks, Joan.
Look like she's gone.
Okay, thank you.
Her mic is open, so.
Yeah. I don't know why. Did you hang up her phone, though?
Nope, didn't touch anything.
Okay, it's because it still sounds like she's there.
Her mic is open. I don't know what's going on. If she can't hear, if she's not responding, she must have hung. I don't know.
Okay.
Her mic is open. Her phone line is open. So.
That's weird.
Okay.
Oh, there she goes. She hung up. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what happened. She was there, though.
Joan?
Her mic is still open.
I know. I don't understand that. That's weird.
I don't know. I don't know. She might have been in a hurry.
Yeah, but we should hear a dial tone if she hung up. I thought I heard her hang up.
We have a new phone, but her phone line is still open, so I just kept it open just in case right now, but I'm about to drop it because we have 40 seconds.
Yeah, drop it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ten seconds. Coming up.
Five minutes before the top of the hour. If you have to be there at the top of the hour, you have just under 5 minutes to get there, but drive safely and keep your arms and hands inside the vehicle at all times. So good to be with you on a Wednesday morning, wrapping up Catholic Connection on this June 7th, 2017. And check out the story on EWTNnews.com of the beautiful talk that Vice President Pence gave at the Catholic prayer breakfast in D.C. yesterday, along with our coverage of it. Of course, EWTNnews.com and EWTN.com for more information. Of course, it was covered as well on EWTN News Nightly. I will have one more day here tomorrow, live in the studio. And thanks to Tom Gray for helping me out here and Kai for filling in for Andrew back in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Party.
And then Thursday after the show, I will head back home. And then Friday morning, I'll be live again from the Ave Maria radio studio. So thanks so much for tuning in. I have to run down the hall now and do television. I'm so confused. Radio, TV, back and forth. But hey, I love it. Having fun. And again, CatholicViewForWomen.com. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on a Thursday. Make it a good day. Ciao, ciao.
You've been listening to Catholic Connection with Teresa Tomeo. Catholic Connection is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Our producer is Andrew Kruchek. For copies of this program or for more information, visit AveMariaRadio.net. That's AVEMariaRadio.net. Thanks for listening, and join us next time for another edition of Catholic Connection.
Thanks, Kai. That was great. Great job, hon.
Take it easy.
Hey, listen, tell Andrew if you can leave him a note. I'll email him later that we've got 2 in-studio guests tomorrow as well. I think he knows it already, but at 9:15, I've got 2 guests from Ireland that are here in the studios this week. So,
okay.
All right, thanks. Bye. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Okay. Another show, another dollar, as they say.
Did you get a raise?